Right.
Jersey is the best. I don't know why anybody would live anywhere else. And I always tell everybody that God summers in Cape May. So we've seen whales from the ferry. Mostly dolphins you see, but occasionally they see whales, mostly humpbacks. Yeah. Almost every day you see dolphins go by in one direction or the other.
Little pod going by.
My memories of Cape May are coming to the beach, and there used to be huge waves, and we used to ride the waves in and body surf, and there's always dolphins in the ocean, so that's nice. And we have a place here, so we always go to eat at the Lobster House. Yeah, it's always a good time coming here.
A long string of narrow barrier islands lies just off the southern coast of the Jersey Shore. At one time, they had been described as the footsteps of giants. In the second half of the 19th century, many of these islands were given a name change. 5 Mile Beach became Angelsea and the Wildwoods. 7 Mile Beach across Hereford Inlet became Avalon and Stone Harbor. Ludlam's Beach across Townsend's Inlet became Isle City and Strathmere. And Peck's Beach across Curzon's Inlet became Ocean City. The coming of the railroad would bring widespread growth to Cape Island and these other areas of Cape May County. In 1879, 4 Methodist ministers, brothers S. Wesley Lake, Ezra B. Lake, and James Lake, along with the Reverend William H. Burrell, whacked their way through the thick underbrush of Peck's Beach. Their goal was to establish a moral, righteous, and devout community. The name they would give it would be Ocean City. A tabernacle was erected at the foot of Wesley Avenue, and the first version of Ocean City's Great Boardwalk opened in 1880. As soon as the railroad crossed Curzon's Inlet onto the island in 1884, this brand new seaside resort began to grow. The boardwalk boasted an auditorium, bathhouses, and a bowling alley that would become Moreland's Theater. Casino Pier was constructed at the turn of the century, becoming the Ocean Pier in 1904. Later, the Music Pier was built, where free concerts have long been a regular feature. Ocean City founded itself on being a family-oriented resort and has remained that way. In 1692, Joseph Ludlam purchased the barrier island just south of Peck's Beach, selling a portion in 1695 to John Townsend, who named his tract of land Townsend's Inlet. When Charles Landis bought Ludlam's Beach in 1880, the island's only inhabitants were Ludlam's grazing cattle, along with the occupants of life-saving stations 33 and 34. Landis had visions of making Isle City a Venetian-style resort, and had several canals dug out along the bay. They were given names like Rio dell'Amore, Rio della Luna, and Rio Grande. By 1893, pavilions lined the shore. Hotels like the Excursion House and Surf House were the town's centerpieces on the beachfront, and the Continental was advertising steam elevators in the 1890s. Isle City officially became a borough in 1882. Avalon was established in 1887 with the idea of creating a pleasant beach community while preserving the natural beauty of the island. They kept their word, and it remains to this day one of the most pristine of all Jersey Shore beaches. In 1897, in an effort to bring train transportation to the island, the Hotel Avalon was constructed along the barren beachfront, as well as a few cottages. In 1910, Stone Harbor was established at the south end of 7 Mile Beach. Lots were sold and cottages constructed. Adopting a similar plan as that of Avalon, a large tract of land was set aside as a sanctuary for wildlife and shorebirds. When Philip P. Baker was visiting 5 Mile Beach in 1883, he found himself surrounded by some of the most unusual groves of trees he had ever seen. Pines, oaks, and sassafras trees wrapped around each other, with the limbs of some passing through the trunks of others. Beautiful green moss draping the branches, all surrounded by white sand beach. He purchased 100 acres of this beautiful place and named it Wildwood by the Sea. Ferries carried visitors to the island, and soon there were cottages, houses, and a boardwalk. By 1903, a wooden bridge was built across the inlet at Rio Grande Avenue. A pier was erected, along with a casino. Wildwood Crest was formed in 1910. The twisted trees of Wildwood were the first tourist attraction to bring visitors, until the boardwalk and long stretches of white sand beaches began to draw thousands. At the north end of 5 Mile Beach, fishing and gunning had become a favorite recreation. In 1883, some friends on a fishing trip hatched an idea to build the 50-room Hotel Angelsea, not aware that the north ends of these islands were prone to getting washed away. Not long after being built, the hotel was lost to the tide and floated out to sea. Angelsea would continue to become a major fishing and recreation area, boasting the best fishing, crabbing, and hunting grounds found anywhere. Hundreds of party boats set out from the piers along Hereford Inlet in quest of sea bass and flounder. In the years following the Civil War, Cape May had struggled to renew its tourism industry. Many Southerners had become bitter toward the North and refused to return to their once beloved seaside resort. By 1873, gambling, entertainment, and the lure of the ocean once again beckoned visitors to its beaches and hotels. Freed black slaves from the South began settling in West Cape May, establishing their own beaches, businesses, churches, and schools. The boardwalk was extended and became known as Flirtation Walk. Horses and carriages rode on the beach as trains and boats carried visitors to the island. Hundreds of bathhouses were constructed along the Strand, a nickname given to Cape May's wide stretch of beaches. Once again, the resort and its hotels were flourishing. Then, on the morning of November 9th, 1878, Cape May residents were waking up when smoke began filling the sky. Several hundred people gathered on the beach to watch in shock as flames broke through the roof of the 46-year-old Ocean House. Residents started a bucket brigade. When firefighters arrived with their worn-out equipment, they were no match for the spreading blaze. Flames shot out of the windows of Congress Hall as the fire spread to other buildings. One after another, private cottages and lavish, affluent homes were vanishing in the fire and smoke. At Washington and Perry Streets, the Center House collapsed to the ground. 700 bathhouses at the Stockton Hotel on Beach Avenue were destroyed. Bolstered by high winds, the fire jumped to the Columbia Hotel on Ocean Street, 3 blocks away. In 10 minutes, the prestigious hotel was an inferno. Finally, after almost 10 hours, the fire was contained, leaving in its wake the charred remains of half the city. 35 acres, including the heart of downtown, went up in smoke. The final damage exceeded $500,000 and included 9 hotels, 30 boarding houses, businesses, and cottages, along with countless bathhouses. This would be the 4th great fire to ravage Cape May. Wealthy residents and visitors did not abandon their favorite vacation spot, however. They would rebuild and compete for the best cottages. These new seaside homes and buildings were constructed in the most modern Victorian designs of the day. From Gothic Revival to Queen Anne style, fashioned in rich pastel colors and accented with gingerbread trim, gables, turrets, and widows' walks. Many of the buildings built during this Victorian age can still be found in Cape May today, helping to create the town's character so many find charming.